Welcome to the MyPTS Time 2 tutorial for entering supports to school personnel consult only students and entering billing for supports to school personnel consult only students. You will hear these students referred to as SSP consult students. Please remember, do not select SSP consult only in the treatment via field for students who are receiving direct treatment. Before we begin, there's some information you will need to know. Due to the growing number of students who are receiving consult under supports for school personnel, also known as SSP consults, and recent legal advice that those services be tracked and have a minimum service level, PTS has made a modification to how these students are entered in the MyPTS Time 2 system. The former process didn't require these students to be put on caseload, so they were billed to the school building under non-student other. Some therapists were putting the students on their caseloads and billing the SSP consults under indirect. This new procedure puts everyone on the same page as to how these SSP consult students should now be set up on your caseload in MyPTS Time 2 and billed for on your timesheet. Let us begin. In order to add the SSP consult only student to your caseload, you'll need to select caseload. This opens up your entire caseload list, where you're able to see all of the students that currently exist on your caseload, their current status, the district they're currently being serviced in, the school they currently attend, their grade, the IEP or 504 dates, as well as the therapist type. And in order to add a student, we're going to click Add New Student. You'll need to enter the billing date you're going to first begin entering billing for the student, which we're going to select August 1st, 2018. Next, you'll need to enter the status, and the status for all supports to school personnel consult only students must be on caseload only. The next thing you're going to enter is the therapist type, which should always be primary, and click Continue. We're going to enter the student's information, and the student we're entering is supports consult. Enter the first and last name. We're going to enter the date of birth, which is 1/1/2000. The student's grade is 12. This is a female. And next we'll need to enter the district. If you're servicing more than one district, you'll see them all listed here. We're going to select the PTS sample district. Next you'll need to enter the school. We're going to select the PTS sample school and click Continue. The system is now checking to see if the student is already in the system, in which case you may see a screen pop up that suggests the student may already be in the system. If you're unable to click on Add as Primary, please use the link that is also on that page that will send all of the information you just entered to administration, who then receives a generated override request, and within 1 to 2 business days will have the student added to your caseload. In this case, our student was not already in the system, so we're going to enter the rest of their information. This is a good time to check and make sure that the name you've entered is correct, the spelling is correct, the first letter of the first and last name is capitalized, the date of birth, the grade, the gender, and the school. Once you've confirmed that information was entered correctly, the next field you'll enter is the treatment via field. And for our supports to school personnel consult only students, this should always be SSP consult. You'll need to make sure that MA eligibility box is checked if it applies. And next you'll need to enter the IEP date. In this case, we're going to use July 31st, 2018. And as you can see, it shows when it expires. Next, you'll need to scroll down. Here is where you're able to see the status of on caseload and the start date of that status. You're able to see yourself as primary, and you'll also need to select a special class type. This field must be completed for all students on your caseload, or you will not be able to get out of this page. We're going to select emotional support. The next thing you'll need to do is scroll down and enter the frequencies according to what is in the IEP. For supports to school personnel, consult only students, this student is not going to be receiving treatment, so you'll select none, which pre-populates the zeros. You're going to also select none for group, and again, the zeros pre-populate. What you will need to enter is the consult frequency according to what is in the IEP. Repeats is how frequently you're going to be seeing that student, whether weekly, monthly, daily, quarterly, yearly, per cycle. Again, none and other. We'll be selecting monthly. Repeat every is how often you're going to be seeing the student. We're going to enter 1 for every month. We're going to enter 1 here. And we're also going to enter 15 minutes here. And this is summarizing what we just entered. We're going to have 1 15-minute session every month. This is a good time to just scroll back up again. You can never check too many times. Make sure all of our information is correct and click Save. As you can see, our student supports consults is now added to our caseload with a status of on caseload. We can see our district, the school, the grade, the IEP date, and the therapist type, which is primary. If for some reason you enter the incorrect school, simply click on the student's name. It will take you back to the student detail page. Click on the change school link under the school that's showing and change the school. Next, we're going to demonstrate entering billing for the supports to school personnel consult only student by clicking timesheets. You want to make sure you're in the month that you're entering billing for. If for some reason you needed to change that, you would use the arrow here, but you should be in the current month. If I had not already started a timesheet for August for the district PTS sample district ESY 2014, I would click on this drop-down list. All districts that I'm servicing would show up here, and I would click Start New Timesheet. But again, I've already started my August timesheet for this district for August, which generated the links that I will use to enter the billing weekly for the students. And so we're going to enter billing for our student supports consult for the week of August 20th through the 24th. Once you click a link, you can always see all of the schools that are assigned to the district, and our student is at the PTS sample school, and billing for supports to school personnel consult only students always goes under student time. I'm going to click the link, and the page opens up where I will be entering my billing. This up here shows us the target hours. Time is entered into the system by minutes, and the system automatically converts it over to hours. This tells you the maximum amount of minutes you're allowed to enter any given day for your district. Even though you're allowed to enter up to this amount of time, if you do not actually work that amount of time, you want to make sure you only enter the billing for the time you actually worked. And this bottom part of this box shows you the time that you're actually entering. We're going to be entering billing for our student supports consult by clicking on their name. If I was entering billing for other students, I could either click on their name, which opens this up, or expand all if I was entering billing for all the students. But we're going to only be entering billing for supports consult, so I'm only clicking on their name. So supports consult receives a 15-minute consult once a month according to the IEP. Let's say I attempted to do that on Monday, August the 20th, but my student was absent. I'm going to mark the student absent for Monday. Another field you may have to use is student unavailable. Let's say on Tuesday I wanted to complete my consult, but my student was unavailable. You would select Tuesday, and for unavailable you'll need to enter a note. I'm going to say my student was unavailable due to assembly. Enter the reason and click OK. On Wednesday, August the 22nd, I was able to meet and have the consult, and that was for 15 minutes, and the billing goes in the consult category on the timesheet. When a student has a status of on caseload, the categories you're able to bill for is group time, consult, IEP or re-eval billing, indirect, or direct billing. Again, for supports to school personnel consult only students, the billing must always go in the consult category. And again, I entered 15 minutes. I can see my time up here. I do not have any more billing for this student. I'm going to go up, click Save. I am returned to this screen. If I want to enter other billing for some other students at the same school, I would go back. I could have done it from the screen I was in, or if I needed to go to a different school, I could select that school here, or a different week, I could select it here. But I'm finished entering billing for my student, so I'm going to click Return to Timesheet. And if I needed to submit the timesheet, I would click Review and Submit. If you scroll down, I can see, remember I already had some billing entered on my timesheet, but I'm going to scroll down, and as you can see on August the 22nd, I entered 15 minutes of support billing for my student. You can see where the student was marked unavailable for Tuesday, and on Monday, the student was absent. If I was submitting my timesheet, before you can submit a timesheet, keep in mind that all of the students on your caseload with a status of on caseload who you did not enter billing for that month, you'll need to account for those students. This is where you will have to mark all of those students still on caseload before you're able to submit your timesheet. I know the option to mark the student as is discharged is on the screen, but you actually don't want to discharge any students from this screen. To discharge those students, it's better to go to Caseload, select the student's name, and change the status to discharge, because it's very unlikely that all of these students will have the same discharge date. Once you've accounted for all of the students, you will see the option to submit, and somewhere in here I must have selected is my student I was missing, and now you can see I'm able to submit my timesheet. And the timesheet shows submitted as of August 29th, 9:05 a.m. You can click Home, you can click Caseload, or if you're finished, you can exit out of the MyPTS Time 2 billing system. Thank you for watching this tutorial on entering supports to school personnel only consult students to your caseload and entering billing for those students.